I agree. Buy it, buy the dips, and then compound at the same time, and you're really doing good.
See what happens, man. Like, we could, maybe a new like system gets added on top of Icosa or Watsa's or something. A lot of this stuff has openings to just like have things built, and it's like, there's a lot of possibilities, and it's like if a dumbass like me can come up with a couple ideas, it's like I wonder what gigabrain Alex is thinking of. Like, does he have anything in the pipeline? If not, the system works good, but it's just like we can do whatever we want. It's like it's really exciting always being here because it's like, what if something new comes out? I want to be here.
Yeah, it's like we're on the front lines over here, ready for anything.
See, and then that wallet, dude, just like, I put it in a buy yesterday, and it's like I get a little too gun ho. Like I like hype myself up. So if any of you heard my talks and got hyped up, now I get hyped up off my own buys, and I'm like fighting myself not to buy more. I'm like, no, you gotta pace yourself. You gotta buy a little bit next month too. And it's just like it's a hard battle.
Yeah, I mean, you probably hype a lot of us up, man. It's a good thing, but you get me thinking whenever you're talking and this get going, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I don't know, it probably changes my plans sometimes a little, but it's all positive for sure.
Well, I think it's just pretty fucking easy, dude. Like I was talking with Kismet about this. It's just like, dude, do you want to miss buying the bottom? Like if this wick to 43 cents and Icosa or Hedron's dollar or 5 zeros and a 1 4, if this was the bottom, wouldn't you want to just like blow your fucking brains out if you missed the bottom with cash holding? And it's just like, but if you bought, I bought Ethereum at $200, it crashed to 80 and then ran up to 4,000. It's like, well, at least I put money in at 200. Like I at least got a nice little 24x or whatever. And like then I got to put everything into Hex and stake it, made interest on it. And it's like you could just like, like I was talking with my buddy, and he's like, "Oh, it's so much easier just to buy the exact bottom and then it's smooth sailing." And it's like, yeah, but what if you miss the bottom? Like that hurts more. I want to get as close to the bottom as possible. There were some people who got wrecked buying the bottom in Hedron, but they were only wrecked for like, a couple months, 6 months or whatever. So like I'll take 6 months of getting wrecked to find that bottom buy.
Oh yeah, absolutely, dude. That's You don't know when the exact is, but eventually, I mean, as long as your system's good, then it's not. Then I mean, you're not losing anything. You'll be up eventually, and you'll be up more if you're buying all the way down.
And if you're staking your shit too, like you'll probably do pretty good, I would imagine. There's a lot of, I think we have I don't know, like it's nice in this ecosystem because it's like let's say you take my same mentality and try to buy Bitcoin. You ain't earning yield on that Bitcoin as you buy it down, bitch. All right. Like at least here you're earning yield on the way down during like high inflation times or while like the coins are still relatively low, like earning a million Hedron on like Icosa stake, for example. It's like, oh dude, $1.50, great. But it's like that will change. That will change.
I just love looking at my Wattses though, and just thinking about those, man. I dream. It's awesome. Those are those are the best things.
Hey, Crispy, are you here?
What's up, buddy?
Did you check that address that dumped yesterday? Because I hear some people say that he once had 41,000 t-shirts and he has 0 now.
What address?
I'll link.
Did somebody post it or? Probably should get to the right chat.
I'm surprised no one's bought them Wattses, some cheap Wattses out there.
Was it really? What was there anything good?
There's one at 1.4 right now.
Wait, it's 1.4 billion. What was the dollars per million?
Uh, 3.3 billion for 4,500.
Oh yeah, that's good, man. If you have an extra $5,000, like or $4,500, yeah. Those ones are good because you get such a good point per million. But I do see a future where they're a little bit harder to sell. But then all of a sudden you start talking about like more money coming into this system. And it's like there's some big guys who'd like, I want the biggest Watson possible. So right now with the smaller market, I'm really aiming for like those ones around that price, but not those points. I'm looking for the ones that are like 100 million or less for like $3 per million or less. I think those ones are really good like deals as well. I'm targeting those ones more. But if you don't have like a point position, that 3 would be really good for you.
Oh yeah, yeah. For somebody who doesn't have any, I would definitely get one like that. You're not going to get a better price point.
Hey,
No, I think it's 2.1 billion or 2.2 billion to be a dolphin. And so like that's like $4,500 to be like a mid-sized dolphin basically.
a quick question for Kismet. Kismet, what was your question about that address?
Now, I was just wondering if you've checked out if it was true or not that they had 41K t-shirts.
Not that address. They had 28,000 t-shirts. But that's all I see.
I'll see if I can find another one that's connected to that.
Okay. That's a lot of t-shirts.
Yeah, that wallet specifically only has like 1 million USD in it. And it's like after yesterday's dump. What they did is they traded over like 1 trillion Hedron for Hex, and then they dumped Hex and got USD.
Oh, that was the one that Alex was posting last night. They took like 300K slippage.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, at the bottom of a bear. I'm curious to know if it was like an emergency or something.
Well, people get a little strange, right? Now, this guy did send some stuff out and get, he already cashed like 1 million USD. last couple days, right? So yeah, I got the million, he left the million, right? So did he go all to USDC? Yeah. Hey, Kismet, this could be somebody who is smarter than everyone. I say that with air quotes, right? They expect to see the market drop 50% and they're going to buy back in, right? That might be their thinking.
Yeah, it's possible for sure.
But I'm just guessing, I mean, listen, I guess if I made these moves, I put $1 million USDC, which I've never done. So I got to think about what I would have done. So I end up with $1 million USDC. I would immediately, if I was getting out, I would start taking tranches of that and sending it to my exchange account in order to withdraw it from crypto completely. So the fact that maybe the guy doesn't know any better or whatever, because you can't. You have bigger problems with bigger amounts. So unless you have experience with that, which I don't know for sure. But I'm guessing my bank doesn't care as much if I send $50,000, but they're going to care a lot if I send them $1 million. So I probably would just start, unwinding that position, pulling it out.
Just freeze it, like you're gonna be fucked.
Yeah, maybe they're doing something on that end, or maybe, like you said, the plan is to try to get everything at a 50% discount. Did he emerge the end stake, by the way? No, he had 9. He used to have underneath that address. He used to have 9 stakes. Doesn't look like any of them were early. Hey, Mike, sorry to disrupt your cheering.
No, dude, you're awesome. I love it when Crispy fucking comes in and gives us some fucking info.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Mike.
I don't know, Crispy. I'm looking and I'm just like, doing some like thinking and, smoking some weed and doing other drugs at the same time. So you keep that in mind. And I'm like, man, that last set of auctions was so fun just to be nice and staked in it. It was fun watching everybody, do their arbing and, all that bullshit. This next set of auctions, I think, is going to be more fun. I think it's going to be more fun while I'm strapped and staked in it.
So what did you like about which set of auctions are you talking about? Because we have auctions every day now, right?
Well,
And
the
probably,
big amounts that come through.
oh yeah. And not, you mean in terms of T-shares?
Yeah. Even the next 3 days, there's some good ones. And it's nice. But man, when that February 11th or 10th or whatever day, when all the rest of them come in, if it's a big day where everyone's participating, oh boy, it's gonna be a nice payout day.
Yeah. Well, that's what we hope for, right?
I'm here for the yield.
I'm here for the yield. Hey, people did rally over the last day, and they put a lot of Hedron in, more than what I think we've been seeing. Let's see if I can nail down a day on this. I have to do an update. So today's the 17th, right? Yeah, yeah. So we have pretty good action. 50 auctions and average per T-share, about 104 million per T-share. And that was 50 billion.
That one big stake, I'm not sure if you were here, Crispy. It went for 30 billion, the one stake, and it was like fair valued at 80.
Yeah. Well, that's consistent, man, right? Because we've been seeing these 40, 45% discounts in value. Like if you're that, I think that's the bait that will bring more people in, because I'm telling people about it and other people are going to tell them about it. And if they, if somebody so I look at it this way, I'm going to be around 15 years no matter what. So why wouldn't I, if I had dry powder, buy one of these, bid on one of these and win it at a 40% discount? It doesn't make any sense not to for me, right?
Right. I heard you were talking with Maddie. Did I hear that? Somebody said that you were talking with Maddie Allen.
Well, it's kind of hard not to talk to him if I'm on a show periodically. Yeah. So I was talking to him.
Oh, I didn't know you were on his show. I don't watch Maddie. Yeah.
Yeah. He invited me over there, so I go every week, and I try to be more assertive to input stuff. Maddie has his things that he likes to talk about, and I like to try to get some plugs in for some of the data stuff that's going on and some of the things happening in the system. And it does give me a chance to talk about different items. And one of the guys came on, I forget, oh man, tip of my tongue, who was in the chat, but one of the guys in the chat was asking specific questions about HSI auctions. So it just opened up an opportunity to bring it up.
Yo, speaking of HSIs, the conversation about the inherent value of the HSIs over time. At a certain point, you can't just only count how much hex is in there or how many T shares are in there. At a certain point, you have to start counting the days served, because you can't buy days. It's something that just happens, and so it attaches an additional premium to the stakes. So the more they get recycled over time, you're going to be looking at the days and go like, okay, man, this has already served a year. I could get a 15-year stake, but I only have to serve 14 years. That adds an additional premium in terms of what Hedron will be burned.
Oh, yeah.
That's very good, because that's what happened during the first auctions.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, let me see if I can share this. I'll show you why.
And then that premium just keeps growing. Like imagine in 5 years from now, you can buy a 15-year stake. The T-shares are locked 5 years ago, and it has served 5 years. And then you only need to serve 10 years on a 15-year stake with that T-share rate. That's like the premium is going to keep growing and more and more.
Yeah, I've been working on my evaluations of stuff as well. But here's a case in point, right? For those who are not looking at what you just said, and they're not necessarily taking that into consideration, they see a little tiny stake like this one here, which is originally 787 hex. That's not the total value of the hex. It's at 2,500 hex. It's already earned 800 or 1,800 more hex in yield. And so for people who are aware of that, they're willing to pump the price up higher, right? And pay a higher average because they know that they've already gotten that. Of course, this one also has a higher average because it's got the 9x Hedron bonus. But yeah, I totally agree with you. There's that component. And then here's the other one that I have not valued. but I think is a value. These T-shares here, because these started at least 90 days ago, they had a T-share rate 90 days ago, which is likely to be that the T-shares were about 7% cheaper, roughly. You know, somewhere in that range, 6-7% cheaper. So for me to duplicate this stake and get the same outcome at the end, I would have to pay 7% more. So it just kind of underscores your point that if you're not looking at all the data, you might not realize the actual value that's being accumulated on these.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's this inherent value that is not apparent from the first glance, but over time you realize, and hex is such a thing that you can't take profits while the stake is maturing, right? Unless you go like in the Hedron route, but the hex itself, you don't get to touch before the stake ends. So the value is just like, it can actually increase like in proportions that we're not fully imagining yet.
Yeah, I agree with you.
What's going to happen to the T-share? Like if you can buy a stake, like I just mentioned, like that has already served 5 years, right? That T-share rate you're buying is not available anymore.
Yep, so it's pretty much not available as soon as you buy it. Yeah. You know, as soon as it was created, it's not available anymore. The other thing you can see if you look at some of the auction data, now this is from 2 days ago, so I don't know how it'll look exactly. If you look at the very small ones, less than one, on that day it was like 101 million that people were paying for it. But if we go look at the 1 to 5 T-share range, you can see that there's different types of bidders, and sometimes when they're bidding, like in this case, it ends up being higher on average. But I think generally the higher you go as an overall statement, it gets cheaper. You know, so if going 5 to 50, it's down, they're paying less Hedron. And that makes sense because you could have more Hedron in your wallet to actually win the bid.
You bring the good shit to the table.
Well, dude, this blow your mind, right? We were just looking at averages from a couple days ago. If I went up to the 18th, which is really in the future, right? But there's actually none here that have ended yet. If we look at the 16th and the 17th, these big ones were going for 45 million for T-share. I mean, my God, that is so damn cheap. But in order for you to get something in that kind of a range, that would give you those kinds of T-shares, you would have, this guy got a good one. Look at that, 27 million. I don't know how the hell that one slipped through. Paid 27 million.
Sometimes the dot 14 at the end, you see there, it can confuse people. If you add that last 14 number, or you just like these small numbers at the end, confuses the eye.
Well, people have also kind of given up, like a lot of us, right? I say us, people listening, I'm guessing, you're kind of tired of bidding and you don't win and you don't win. And then people are paying 30, 40, 50 million for little tiny stakes. But then this guy gets one for 6.2 T-shares for 34 million. Like, who wouldn't do that if you had the chance, right? So I guess there's bargains out there, guys. So people have an opportunity. You can find them there. A whole bunch looks like went through. Why wasn't I watching the auctions? Jesus. 40 million, 40 million. These are cheap. I wonder if my numbers are right. I'll have to go check them. If somebody finds out that I'm wrong,
send
tell
me
me.
40 billion. I'll go do the bidding for you. You can trust me.
Well, this is 40 million with an M.
Oh.
Even you could do that, man.
Oh, even a poor pleb like me? Awesome.
Shit, this is almost a whole dolphin position. So here's a little trick, right? If people ever use this stuff, you can pick the ones you want. It's going to update that top piece. Let's look at those. Okay, it's not a dolphin position. I miscounted. 65 T-shares though for 400 million. If you were able to get them all, that's a lot. A lot of discounts, man. And then looks like single bidders as well. So I wonder if there's a time frame that these all happened in. Yeah. What's today's date? Today is the 17th, right? And 5 hours from now, so perhaps I have this not correct. So I need to go check it right now. Maybe I have. Maybe this is showing the upcoming ones that are coming and what the bids are, because that seems kind of low to me.
Also, keep in mind that the people who are locked in their 180-day Hedron stakes, they're observing this without being able to unlock, or they don't want to face upon a penalty. So once once that liquid Hedron comes into the market, we don't know what kind of decisions people will make with the Hedron. Are they going to instantly restake it, or they've been salivating over all these stakes being sold for pennies? Not all of them, but you had good deals. Are they going to be more competitive for the next row of stakes? It's going to be interesting to see.
And one thing to consider, if some of these guys, you never know, with more coins coming out, insert, when you have staking introduced, there's usually a pump because people buy because they want to stake. But remember, when it end stakes, they could sell the Icosa or the Hedron. You don't know what people are going to necessarily do.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'm unhappy to report that I had an error in my data. I don't know what happened. I was updating the pricing, but those numbers are not correct that I threw out there. So I'm going to go drop and dig in to make sure that's correct.
Software is hard. 4 more weeks.
Mm. Yeah, something changed on the dexes price wise. I was trying to get an update on what these would be valued at in terms of hex and what they would be valued at in terms of Icosa. So I can display that data.
Am I still working? Oh, okay. Chris, are you doing more math?
Yeah, I am. Yep.
Okay.
Like we were saying, math is hard, man. I'll show you what I'm doing in a second. Here, I'll throw it on there. You can see it.
And remember, math's hard for dumb people who dropped out of college. Hi. Dropping out of college and studying crypto so far, it's worked out okay for me, I guess. So, like, oh no, school is for fools. Look at me.
Yeah, funny bastard, man.
I had some inheritance, and I took half of it and started my business, and I put the other half into crypto and stuff. Or it was 1/3 house, 1/3 business, 1/3 crypto. And my parents thought I was the stupidest fuck on earth. Like I was the dumbest fuck they've ever met. Like, but they had many phone calls worrying about me.
So anybody who's been watching those big auctions, did they really go for like 50, 60% discounts? Does that sound like that's possible?
A few seemed like they slipped through. I'm not saying the majority did, but Kismet did the math on the one from yesterday, and he was like, dude, that thing should be going for 80. I'm not sure if he calculated it based on the Icosa being below ceiling, but even if it wasn't, like 50% down from ARB ceiling means that that thing still went for like a 25% discount.
So what was the number of T-shares on that? Do you guys remember?
Was it 568 Kismet?
Yeah,
Is that the
568.
568? Yeah.
At yesterday's Hedron price, it should have gone for like 85 billion or something at least, but it went down. It got sold for 30.
But what was the ARB price? Was that the ARB price or the fair hex price?
That's the fair price of current Hedron value versus the hex value.
Oh, so then with the 50% ARB, that's still a 25% gain in terms of Icosa. Like, and he could like sell it and buy 20 or 25% more Hedron on the flip.
Yeah,
So
I think a
Kismet,
stake like that. I think a stake like that you would just keep if you get it for that cheap, and you just keep it for now, and then you'll see what the market does, and then you decide what to do. But I probably wouldn't send it to the contract immediately.
I, yeah, like I can see some people doing that, but I just view it as just like these things. Like, if you are buying hex stakes and then you need money, like you're not going to break a hex stake. You're going to end up flipping it back into Icosa down the road. I really have a firm belief that a lot of these that are sitting on the sidelines, like people are like, oh, I'm getting it for the hex, buy and hold. And that's going to be the first thing to go in their portfolio. And they, they might sell down the Icosa price a little bit, but like that would have happened anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if they would have arbed it.
Yeah, you also have the argument like, yeah, if you do it and then you get into, you can stake faster and stuff, so you can earn yield. But in general, like it depends on what the person aimed is. Like, what if that person just doesn't really care about Icosa and doesn't really care about Hedron? He just wants Hex. Like, I think it just depends on what the person is, prioritizing.
Well, and he could flip it for cash too. He could flip it for more USD than the Hedron was worth. If he's like flipping between USD, I think like a bot that like will do a purchase like and do $1,000, flip it into Hedron, then you're less exposed to the volatility of Hedron kind of thing. I think that those types of things like are going to be very popular in the future, and I think that's one of the things that Richard wanted was like having a good stable coin, because traders are going to who don't like hex and hedron or whatever, but they're all down for making money. They're going to be flipping between USDC, buying hedron and stuff, and it's like that goes part of the in my opinion, I foresee that being part of the vertical integration process. And remember, every time that a trader does that, it's going to end up having to use the Pulse X system, which buys more Pulse X off the market.
Yeah. Crispy, you said something?
Yeah, I threw I'm checking these numbers by hand at the moment, but I'm looking at that particular HSI that was sold. And so I put that information on the screen. So I think at the current value, that should be $114,000 worth of hex.
Yeah.
And that the bid went for 43-ish, 42, 43-ish at current value. And so from a hex perspective, it's like a 60% discount on the hex. But it also looks like the stake isn't very old. It's only been around a very short period of time. So the person might have done that in order to get the Icosa in the first place.
I'm sorry, am I missing something? Where can we see the when the stake was created?
I don't have it on the screen, but I can add it. I'll put that on the list here to add.
So this was not a stake that was created 90 plus days ago?
No, it had to be. But I'm just thinking in terms of what was staked. It was 4.5, and it's earned. I have to fix that, I guess. There must be something wrong with what I'm doing.
I mean, if they created it from the very beginning, they established themselves a big position in the Icosa staking pool from day one. And that stake should ideally have paid itself off. Or no, actually, not with the current Icosa price, but if Icosa was $1.
So let's see. So it would have started 10:20, right? So it's been running for what? 90 days, right? Exactly. That's how it ended up. So it must have been turned in originally.
A little bit later. It was not a day one Icosa stake then.
Yeah, whatever day 120 is. I don't think I have the dates in this one to actually show the date. So whenever that was. Now I would
Yeah,
have
I mean,
thought,
ideally, if it was a day one stake, then the poly contract should have gotten it or something, or whoever bid for it after the poly failure. But since it just came to market, so it's clearly an older than day one stake.
it's 568 T shares, right? So I'll multiply that by 6.3. So it should have earned 3,500 hex. So for some reason, my total hex is off. I don't know why. Well, there were some problems last night with the hex daily stats got all wonky. So perhaps the data feeds were off. So I'll go update all those. That just means that it would have been worth even more than what we're talking about by a few dollars or whatever. But
I noticed
I
noticed the Icosa pool on a hex model is not showing day 124, but Watsa is. So maybe there's something going on with the feed.
Yeah, a lot of us are depending on different data coming from different directions, and something called subgraph is out there, and subgraph seems to have had a burp last night too. So it's always important to check numbers that people put out, including me. Make sure that they're right.
I just put in main chat the other big stakes that are coming up. We got 2 days in a row. We're gonna have a stake with over 1,000 T shares in that.
Oh man, those should be big burns. I would think should be big days. I probably should add, based on our conversation, I really don't need the current day, but served days would probably make sense to put in here. You know, to show how many days have been served on that, which is sort of like the progress percentage, you know?
Yeah, like serve days and stake or stake date start or something like that.
I was trying to add in the average hadron per hex in here as well. I know some people use that multiple. Do, do, do. I forget, Mike, if it was you who had asked this the other day, or maybe somebody else. I did throw in current cycles, so we can now start to see, you know, which ones have gone through more than once as well. As you can see, we have like 30 that have gone through, 33 maybe, that have gone through twice through the cycle. 34 of them. So you'll actually find them in here twice for the same stake. I think this first time it went through, it sold for 1.3 billion. And the second time this went through, it went for 600 million.
So you could make an argument, well, let's see what happens, but like, you know, like that it went for half the amount of Hedron yielded. Or I'm sorry, half the amount of Hedron second time rather than the first go through.
Yeah, I don't know that we can make any conclusions yet, but yeah, we'll see what happens, right? Because like this one here, 794, it also had gone for 160 million when it went for less on day one. This one, a little bit less. This one less. This one went for 300,000 originally, but it went for 1.4 million. That's not a big one though. Yeah, generally they've been going for less. It looks like, but this is a very small sample size, right? These are, yeah, these are actual auctions that were originally put in here and seeded on purpose, right? Going back to May. You know, so all of these predate the actual kickoff, right, of the big auctions, which was 11/14, and so this is the first set of them and them coming through. Now we do have the data. I think Dev Huey has it. I'm going to try to add it here. We do have the data to see which ones are now coming through for their second and third pass through the liquidation loans, so you go through the loans protocol. So I should be able to pull that up and be able to show whether or not it's being recycled again. When it finally gets back into the auction, it'll show up as a whatever the current cycle is. So if any of these that were twos now have been one, and then turn around, they come back through again, they'll show back up as threes because it'll be their third time.
All right.
Now, we know some of them aren't going and being recycled. Probably, we're guessing that some are not being recycled, right? Because otherwise, you would see a static or growing amount of auctions. But it's time delayed by 90 days, so that's not even correct, because how far out do when you go to that upper panel and it shows the liquidations that are coming? How far out does that go?
Oh, dude,
Anybody
like
know?
ages. Like,
Does it go as far as like 90 days?
I'll check. I think it does. I think it starts showing you. Crispy, do you see a future with this? Like, dude, this just looks like a stock market dude's fucking playground. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I don't know about the stock market, but maybe people who are interested in the stock market would be interested in this.
Yeah, it goes out 176 days. Wait, why is 176 days? What the fuck? That doesn't make sense. Is it because like
Because what you're looking at, I think, in the upper panel is the loans. The advances that are taking place.
Oh, this one doesn't match with the right address. With the borrower address of 69 ED, it has E7C8. So yeah, that one's a liquidated loan. Why does it have an extra 80 days on it?
That's
Oh,
you
go
can
ahead.
pay in advance. Alex said to me yesterday, asked the same question. So like they're just ahead on their payments that somebody has borrowed. You know what I mean?
Oh, so like they made payments, but it's still in default. Oh, wait. What is
Not
that
like
math?
they made their payments ahead, but yeah, they still have borrowed, I think, Hedron against their stake, but they don't have to. They won't default until that time if they don't make any more payments.
Oh. Oh, so
Now
they
you're
could be taken out,
I just found
like
that out
just because
yesterday.
it's in there. Oh, okay.
yeah.
So just
And now
because
you're
it's there doesn't mean it's actually in default. It means it's in line for being defaulted, right?
yeah, maybe where are you looking at that data?
The HSI buyback section on the very last page.
Yeah, because in the app too, it shows it, and that was my question. I scrolled to the last page to see if things were getting recycled, and I was like, "What? Why is this so many days?" I didn't. So I asked that question too. I've
And it's
never
because
used the
they made
borrow feature.
prepayments. So could that guy go make his payment? Like, so does he have 70 or 84 days or whatever to make another payment on it or something?
Well, I think you have that many days to then make your payment. So like,
So does that
how
dude still have his hex stake loan? Like he could still be paying it off? So that's not officially going into the auctions in 176 days? Is that correct?
right? Yeah, I think
Oh.
so. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. That as long as you make, like, you could have the 90-day, but then as long as you make your payment, then I guess it would go up, right?
Yeah. You know, I every time I feel like I got most of it pretty much figured out, like there's always something else that pops up. I'm like, wait, how does this work? Wait, where does that, go to? Interesting. Thank you.
And you're looking at this at Icosa.pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason, when I scrolled to the last page, I got weird numbers. So I didn't see what you were seeing. So now I'm going back to do it more slowly.
So there could be a wave of HSIs that all come through. Like let's say I'm that person with 176 days left, but I have 100 of those stakes. All right, just for example, I have 100 of those. All right. Well, what now? Like, is there a big liquidation event happening in 70? Like, so I'm assuming by the 90th day, that's where it officially goes into the system. And so like you have this like weird, like, are all those going in or not?
I think you
Are
can
they getting
see on
paid
the
off?
left-hand side. On the left-hand side, it says the borrower's address, and it should the one that ends with 69 ED. That's the Icosa contract.
Yeah.
So the majority of those are probably going to go to liquidation. But anything
Yeah,
that's
all
different
those,
than that
yeah.
address, anything that's different than that address is probably that can be paid off.
Oh, okay. It's not fully in default yet, but it's in line to be defaulted. Okay, so that's a weird. Like, I wish it had its own little section for that rather than being listed into the auctions, but it really doesn't matter because not too many people are going to the last page. So it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it takes too long to get there.
Yeah, there's so many hex stakes for sale.
Yeah, so I don't know what the value would be borrowing against your T-shares to get the Hedron and then stake the Hedron and then earn the yield, and then after 30 days of Hedron staking, you just pay back the Hedron loan. I don't know what the value is there, bro, but that's also a possibility. Because the time that you have to pay back your Hedron loan is 90 days, but you can max out a Hedron stake all the way up to 900 million or 1.1 billion, and that's only going to lock you for 30 days. So you could take loan against your T shares to earn yield in Icosa and then pay back the Hedron and get free Icosa that way, ideally.
So Prairie had asked me to look into something. Would it be useful to pull this list of potential liquidations?
I don't have a source for that.
Well, we can get to the liquidations. So that's what I'm guessing. What we're looking at is, think of it like an Excel, right? There's one Excel page with a list of all the things that have loans against them and what the status of the loan is. And that's what we're seeing up top. And then once somebody clicks the button and sends it for auction, it goes to the other sheet, which shows the active auctions. In my mind, with what I see is there's a never-ending supply of stakes that could be sent to auction. I mean, I say never-ending. I mean, it's finite, but the only way you could ever get to the bottom of the barrel would be that all of us made some sort of concerted effort to start all of them, right? And that's a lot to try to start.
If somebody wants to pay me to do it, I'll do it. I work for really good Icosa and Watsa rates, really good rates.
But I would say tonight and tomorrow night would be a good time to do it. And gas is cheap.
Well, then the strategy there is if you're going to spend the gas yourself on it, maybe you give it away. That's fine. You can do that. But if you're looking to actually bid on them, you probably want this is how this has happened, right? You probably want to select a whole bunch in the range that you want to bid on and get them started with the idea that you're going to get some portion of those, right? That you'll win them.
That makes sense.
You know, like let's say it seems like people in general are interested in like their own little ranges, right? So let's say I like 5 T-share stakes, and maybe I would go start 25 T-share stakes, hoping to get all the people who might be interested in 5 T-share stakes exhausted. And then I have more of an opportunity to win those.
Yeah, it's a fight for attention there because you can't compete with a bigger guy's bag because he's going to always outbid you, but you can compete with his attention because it's like you're just exhausted, like you said. So, for example, the more stakes are available, the less he can focus on, and then the smaller guys have a bigger advantage. Not advantage, but they have a better chance as long as there are many stakes available at the same time. But the moment that there's little stakes and the bigger guy can zone all his attention on the best ones available, then he's just gonna keep winning all the best ones.
Yep. I just finally got to the end of the list so I could see them. The ones you guys were talking about.
I'm sorry, dude. This is the new world financial product. I see everybody in the stock market wanting to play this game. I'm sorry. I see like everybody in crypto wanting to play this game, and like people like people love eBay. You know, like you hear Jawa talking about his eBay experience, like bidding and stuff, like all of this on Pulse Chain on a new network. It's like, oh wow, dude, like Pulse Chain is awesome. Like even more awesome now because it's like now it launches with like a reason. Like, you know, like Pulse Chain is going to be a very highly used network, I believe, just because of like the HSIs and you know, taking out loans and stuff on your hex stakes. Like this is phenomenal. I think during where, you know, people don't like buying into red candles. But you know, once we get a couple green candles in a row, man, everyone's going to be talking about this shit.
I mean, at the very least, all finance guys should be interested in the added transparency in here. Like anytime you mix finances and you can have a result while you have finances and transparency, like that's a win. You just need to be aware that this exists.
And how it works. I do believe that this is a little complicated, and I think everybody's got a little bit to learn on how to bid, HSI values, like arbitrage, like all these different things to another level a little bit. And like a lot of people can't play because like, dude, it fucking sucks. Like $8 to tokenize a fucking HSI. Like get the fuck out of here, man. But like, you know, on a new network, now everybody's going to want to play. And like I do remind people like going into Pulse Chain, if there's a time where gas fees get super gnarly on Pulse Chain, just to let you know that's a good thing because people are actually using the network. And more pulse is being burnt. So make sure you always keep that in mind going into this. Like it may be like Ethereum where it first launches and then it's like really cheap. It's micro pennies to do everything. But like it could creep up to quarters and dollars as soon as people start playing the Hex HSI game. You know, staking, end staking. Imagine like 1 million stakers. Imagine if we had as big of a audience here in the I do feel like the Icosa Chat for in a bear market, dude. Like, oh my god, we're doing so good. I think we're always getting new people. I've onboarded, I think, 5 people into Hex and Icosa over the last like 2 months, and like I think this is really starting to. I think it's starting to look a little special, man. Like Alex is going to start streaming. I think it's going to be nice to have another good face. We have people like Maxim now in the YouTube space. Maxim makes some of the best YouTube videos. Like I think, like I enjoy his content. Like now, like to Richard's like hard, like badass, I'm better than you side. We got a little bit of humbleness here too. So we got something for everybody. Well, if you don't like Richard so much, like, well, what about Alex? You're gonna love this guy. This guy is like a neckbeard programmer who gives out free money. You know, like, and then if they buy like Icosa ceiling price, it's like, well, they're buying Hex. Are you feeling it, Crispy, or am I just like? Is it the drugs? It just to let you know, it could be the drugs.
When you say feeling this, what do you mean?
Just like being here, you know, just even like, I think that like the auctions and everything, like, dude, this makes Hex even just like even more of a no duh, right? Like it just makes it even better, and it's enticing and it's exciting. Like look at how much math you're doing every day. Look at like look right now in the middle of a bear market. We just took what, a 25% dip. We have 20 people here, like in the middle of the day, like on a Saturday. Like what? Like this is like the start. This is the start of something very, very special, I think. We could still have another year or two of bear, but like I just see like the potential. Like it's like look at what we're doing here. You know, I did a chat, like, and I had like 50 people in here the other night. Like I know we kind of take some of the Hexagon community and stuff like that, but man, everybody is like not looking at the charts, trying not to pay attention, focusing on their life, but like just so many people are like, oh dude, all the good stuff's happening right now. I mean, we have smart guys like you, Steph, like Alex, Funding Jim. We got Rackham. Like, dude, there's some really big, like, smart people here. Dev Huey, that dude's like something else. I really like his Twitter stuff. Oh, and I talked to a buddy who does a little bit of programming. He said he looked at the code as mint as many free coins as you want, Comrade coin, and like he's not convinced that the like inflation ever stops. He thinks that there's like a bug in it. I'm not going to spread FUD, not trying to start shit, but like that's what my buddy who does coding says. So I like all that so sus. Like this real stuff is happening here. By the way, we have 20 people here. Is there any new people with some general questions or something? You know what? You guys are all the ones who come in for Saturday afternoon SmackDown. What's a God Mike versus fucking FUD. You know what I'm saying? I have listened to myself and bought shit on the market after listening to my own video and listen to me talk. My only regret is I won't be able to listen to myself live. That's my biggest regret. I'm loving it though. you know, every time I see a red candle, I just get that like urge to buy. You know, because I always ask myself, like, if I'm looking at the chart and I see a nasty dip, like, is this the bottom? Like, I saw a 2.5 cent hex, and I don't know what it is now. Where are we at? 2.5 still, but like, I'm looking, I'm like, you know, it could go lower, but you know, you're like trying to argue, like, do I buy hex at like a penny or a penny and a half, like, or like, what if it goes down to a half cent, right? Like, the upside does start to get gnarly, but like, I remember when I bought and I just like knew, dude, I like put everything I had in, and like I just happened to buy the right time, and then like all of a sudden we go up, and then we crashed, and some whale cashed out his entire bag, dude. It was like $3 million, and he cashed out and he like ran away. We dropped down to 1.4 cents, and like I bought like 1.5, 1.7, dude, and I'm like questioning my life, and like I did buy a little bit that day, but I didn't like buy more because I was like, what if we just keep going down? And then, dude, boom, 12 cents. And it's just like, I always have to buy that red dip. It hurts more to like buy, and like it sucks for when it goes down. But if you DCA, man, it's just like if you miss the bottom, God, does that fucking hurt? That fucking hurts. Like when Hedron took off, I missed the bottom. Oh God, I wanted to fucking die, dude. I was like, because I was watching it, waiting for the bottom, and instead of just DCAing across the bottom, and when I started looking, when I was like, oh, this might be a good time to buy, like it was like 3x the lowest price, and that's where I would have start buying, and it's like it eventually did hit the bottom, and then just like boom, I missed it.
Yeah, when you miss the bottom, it feels like your soul has left your body. The nights that just feel lonely and cold.
You know, I went like an all-in play before, and it was just like really rough. And so now it's like, dude, I gotta make sure I keep some cash on the side, keep working. Once that bottom hits, bro, oh, dude, all that cocaine going up my nose. Oh, it's gonna be fucking beautiful. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm a responsible person.
Yeah, just do it in moderation if you're gonna do that. All right.
Which one, the cocaine or the hookers?
The cocaine, the
Oh,
hookers,
okay.
you'll be all right.
Ah,
Not medical advice.
oh yeah, I'm definitely going to take medical advice from a dude in the Icosa chat. Like, Your Honor, he gave me. I thought he was a doctor.
No, that's how people act though with the financial shit. They're like, what are you gonna take advice from a guy with a cat picture? I don't know. Can't blame me. I'm named Feral Child.
I don't know, man. I listened to Richard. Like, he ripped me a new one and then said, you know, you should, you know, I know you have some hacks in your staked. Good for you. Welcome. But he was like, maybe you should buy some more. It wasn't financial advice, but god damn it. You know, back then it was 12, 14,000 for a share. I listened to the dude with the top hat. When you have a top hat, that's how you know you're fucking fancy, dude.
Yeah, those old videos are pretty epic.
Man, like he was spitting truth way back then, man. He was spitting some real truth. Like I just think that it's amazing that like it was all because like he made his own token. And like, I don't understand how like Australian, what was it? You guys know who I'm talking about? The Australian scammer guy who like made like a ghetto privacy coin that rugged. He's no longer around after the interview with Richard.
Is that the guy from Tasmania or something with his little
Yeah,
car?
I think so. Like, God, if I heard the name, I would know. But like the dude like was begging Richard for fucking coins so that he could like talk about Hex, and just like Richard was like, lol, like get the fuck out of here. Like I actually have respect. Like, dude, Richard doesn't have to pay people to talk about Hex. Like let's get all the smart people in here and like get
I
the better
remember
holders.
Alex
What
Saunders.
is it?
That's his name.
Yeah, and what was his channel? God, it was Alex
I
Saunders,
don't know.
but yeah, fucking loser. Fucking, he's gone. Fucking dead. Like, after Richard exposed him, like, I'm not about showing personal DMs, but, like, when you're doing, like, bad stuff like that, and, dude, there are still people on Twitter, like, being, oh, Alex, you're so fucking great. Let me suck your fucking dick. Like, that Richard guy was mean to you. And it was like, dude, do you not see what, like, those messages were, like, talking about? Like, all the people in his paid group lost money. Like, this guy, like, fucking, like, wrecked people. And so annoying. Like, maybe like if we want to be popular, maybe Richard needs to get a BlockFi referral link or an FTX link. Maybe that's what he needs. Because apparently everybody will flock to you if you have one.
There, I found a clip.
Dude, like people like that drive me fucking mad. Like I'm not saying that I'm a god or anything, but like he makes so much fucking sense on so many things. It's just like you just don't make sense. And like the guy's like, oh, Hex has got to be a scam, but then Alex Sanders makes a fucking coin, and then he rugs his own people, and it's just like nobody points it out. Where it's like, dude, the Hexicans still like are kicking ass. Everybody's still earning interest. Now everybody's earning free Hedron just for being a staker. Now it's just like I feel like it's once we cleanse a couple more bad wallet holders, some of the big guys who may just want to cash in, macro's too bad for them. After you get rid of them, man, you have less sellers and same amount of buy pressure. It's just like number has a tendency to go up. And here's a weird thought. So right now we're like 50% below for like ARB and stuff. Like if Hex drops enough, wouldn't a whole bunch of people just start buying Hex off the market, and then like, you know what I'm saying? Depending on like the liquidity, like Icosa kind of has like a, like it's like I got your back, you know? Because if it goes above ceiling, then like a whole bunch of Icosa is created and then sold, and Hex is bought and wrapped for 15 years. I really want Icosa to hit ceiling price while Hex is like at 2 cents. And then just like people start FOMO buying a red candle and not realize they're buying Hex. Oh, it sounds so funny. Is anybody else feeling this? I was talking to my buddy and he's like all bearish, like grr, like 3-year bear grr, 3-year bear grr. And like maybe, but like, what if we don't, dude? Like, I think a year, another year, worst case. Not financial advice. 100% not financial advice. All right, someone talk to me. Bring up some good information. Oh, dude, there's some good price Watsas in OpenSea. There's a 291 for 600 bucks. That's not too bad. Oh, now this one's actually a good one. Like not financial advice, but this one's actually good for a different reason. It's 46.88 million for a 125 die. So like ones like that are nice because you only paid 100 bucks. Downside risk is you lose $100, but the upside is like you got a good piece of artwork with one where like a year from now I see a world where like each Watsa is kind of like 4 or 5 Icosa per million, and we'll have to see how that burns. And so like 46 is like enough points to where somebody feels like they have a position. I guess that's a really small position. I don't know what that is. That'd be a turtle. It's probably like a turtle or something. Ones like those ones are really good buys because when there's a hype fest for the, hype fest come and go. But I believe that a lot of people will pay premiums for the smaller ones. So you're kind of waiting for that moment. Like the dude earlier said, the 3 billion points for $4,500. That's like $1.50 per mint. I think those have like 1.3 in them now. I don't know what the number is. See here, I have a 1 million point here, and it's a day one, and it's about 1.25 Icosa per million in each Watsa right now. So we're at 1.25 per million. So at the end of like by the end of the seeded liquidity, like 4 or 5 sounds pretty reasonable. A little high. Oh, 200 million for 420. It's not bad, I guess. Oh yeah, and there's a 250 for 530. So there's a couple good ones for $2 per million. All it takes is 1 or 2 good wallets to come in and swoop them all up. So if any of you guys don't have any, I do think a small portion in Watsa is pretty cool. I think it'll do everyone really well. After this next auction set, we're going to see the Watsa, I think, be viewed in a different light because they're going to pay really well. Oh my God! Wow, Watsas are also up to 273 ETH of volume. That's really high. That's
Okay.
really high.
So-
Yeah. What has it been, like 4 months? Yeah, it's been 4 months. And so what is that, like 2 or like 80 per month or something? Or like 70 ETH a month?
Yeah, you're moving weight. Huh?
80. Oh yeah, that's 70 ETH, I think, a month. That's pretty good for a bear cycle. Like, so, you know, you always have to keep in mind, like, ETH had its highs of like 4,000. So, you know, that's technically more volume. But like, I really think that, you know, bear market, you just have such slow amounts of like money coming in and out of the system, probably more money coming out. And like for it to be so highly traded, it just like shows where this ecosystem's going. Like you have this fucking bald guy here fucking like rambling, talking about NFTs, and I got fucking 20 people here. You know?
Nice. Three Icosa buys in the last hour.
I'm sorry?
3 Icosa buys in the last hour.
Mm. God, we're so early days, man. Like this is like early days.
Ah, sorry, 8. I don't know where I'm getting 3. 8 buys.
Oh. I really think that this next set of auctions are going to be really, we're going to see some stuff where our jaws drop at certain points and go, what?
Actually, I'm lying. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me.
Stop hyping me up, man. Stop giving me fake numbers.
This is why I don't deal with numbers.
I don't associate fiat value to these assets unless I have to. Just kidding.
And like I feel like Alex has created a like, you know, that Hex army behind him. Like not I think most Hexicans are gonna be pretty cool with Alex. Like no one's like, Alex, I'm going to find you for giving me free Hedron for staking my hacks. You know, and I think he's gonna start it would be nice to have him have a cycle of YouTube, because a lot of us are craving that Richard Hart stream right now. Dude, I'm telling you, first stream, I'm going to be there.
Dude, I think his
Yeah.
streaming is going to be awesome. I'm super bullish on that whole prospect.
I think that he's going to attract a lot of the Hex community just by streaming, and that is good for us. I think that it's okay, like, to, you know, if you buy some Icosa or Hedron, you're trying to get shares, you're playing the game. Like, you know, like buying hacks off the market and staking it, like that's one thing everybody should do. But like for people who want a little bit more playing and more stuff to do, like so many Hexicans don't even realize. Like I actually had my Hexican buddies text me, and they're like trying to get info on what I know, and I told them I'm not giving it to them. I was like, you can go figure it out yourself. You should have invited me over to hang out. You guys are jerks.
I think it's also going to be big for, you know, Alec does start streaming. I think it'll be, I don't want to say important, but it'll be good for a lot of us from, you know, migrate over there when he's having his stream to make the chat interactive and kind of make our presence known and all that happy stuff.
I have a new mattress and washer and dryer for my fucking house. Like, I love Alex. Oh, hail the king.
I mean, especially
Like,
if he has all this infrastructure done, like with the, you know, he's going to have a lot of cool infrastructure to flash and talk about in addition to the, you know, Icosa Hedron protocol that he's built on top of Hex. So, yeah, and we'll see how it times up with the whole macro picture and pulse chain and everything. It could time up well. We'll see.
I see him gathering an audience, man. Like, I remember when I saw Maxim's first video, I was like, okay, this guy's going somewhere. Remember seeing Richard being like, oh, this guy's going somewhere. I already have a feeling with Alex. Like, I think that it might be a little slow. We might only have 100, 200 viewers first stream, but like we were the 100 or 200 people who were there first.
Yep, and he's gonna. I think he's gonna resonate with a completely different demographic of user, and it's gonna funnel people into the hex sequence from a different direction, and not necessarily hex maybe. Whether he gets them in through, you know, Watsas or Icosa Hedron.
I don't think we need anything more. I do like the option that like you know, there could be more stuff to make everything cooler. And if it doesn't happen, I think everything's still really good. You know, but it does seem like maybe something could be added to really just like kick the system in a little bit of a higher gear, if that makes sense. A little nitrous in your engine never hurt anybody. You know, it does show that he has some potential. You know, 1,000 likes for him to like streaming, like, you know, him just making a post like, "Yo, Does anyone want me to stream?" And it gets like 1,000 likes. Like, it's like, oh, that's a nice little start. You know, you get an audience of 500 to 1,000 people. Like, you know, you're doing pretty good on your first day. So, I remember watching some of the Richard streams, and there was only a couple hundred people there, and I was one of the guys there. You know, I saw that Grayscale Bitcoin selling for 50% off, and I was like, oh God, man, Richard's 10K call, like, or 11K in Prey call is just like, it's lining up almost too good. Like, it's almost too fucking good. Does that make sense? Like, why would you buy, like, if you were like a guy with money? I mean, like, no one, I wouldn't do it just because of, you know, not your keys, not your coins. Grayscale being the Grayscale being the biggest Ponzi in all of crypto would be pretty fucking hilarious. But like, you know, if you still believe in like having other people hold your money, why would you buy off Coinbase where you could buy a GPTC like share for half off?
Yeah, if they have problems behind the scenes, that would be catastrophic, dude. Once the news actually comes out.
Oh, dude, do you know how much money out of the stock market like that would have fucked? Like, dude, they were actually pretty popping when they opened, weren't they? Like, dude, there was a lot of money going in and out.
Yeah, everybody was talking about Kathy at that point. She was like on big
Oh,
streams with Elon Musk. They were just sitting there chatting. So you have a lot of people who definitely have put their money in there.
Kathy Wood, right? The ARK Invest lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the scariest part would be we have energy costs going up around the world. If we have something more like FTX, something along those lines crashing or rugging people, if Grayscale starts having a lot of problems and they can't, like, you know, whatever it might be, I don't know, but if they crash, then we're gonna see if we ever get to a point where miners start capitulating and selling their stock of mined Bitcoin in order to cover electricity costs because they can't loan more money. I mean, they can't borrow more money from whoever they borrow from to cover these costs with the energy prices rising across the planet. Then if the miners capitulate, this can cause like a below 10K scenario. Obviously, they won't sell like the entire stacks that they have, but I think altogether miners have like around maybe someone can correct me, around 800 to 900,000 Bitcoin.
Jesus. you know, when you think about how like sucky Bitcoin is compared to Hex, like all it is like, you know, earning yield. That's what it really is. You're running a machine and earning yield, and Hex is the machine that earns yield. And it's just like no electricity costs. You know, and that's how I was telling my buddy today. And he was like, "Oh, dude, that makes sense. You know that. You know that's definitely a way to view it. And like, why would you?" And I'm like, "Exactly. You know, for years, you know, I told you, you know, if mining Bitcoin was the best way of accumulating Bitcoin, I would have done it. But like, I just bought near the like bottoms and stuff and dollar cost average, and it's just like I believe that that was the correct way. Yeah, there's some guys who made money on mining and stuff, great, but like I just think you were better off buying the thing. But now it's just like, well, now you can just buy the crypto.
Yeah, I just, even though everything looks very good for Hex and stuff, I really do not want to be part of ETH. I want us to have our own world where
Yeah.
we dictate what happens. Being under the
Well, not that we dictate, that we let the free market operate without like interference, right? Like
yeah,
it's
yeah. I don't
like
I don't mean in a financial sense. I mean in a structural sense.
yeah.
What concerns finance, yeah, that should always be kept as an open market. But when it comes to the structure of where we exist, that should be like within our control, you know, because we don't want to be at the mercy of whatever decisions that these ETH developers do.
I can't believe more Ethereum people aren't up in arms. You know, I gotta say, for once, like Bitcoiners have like an actual leg to stand on, where they say like ETH is basically a centralized shitcoin. Like, I'm not saying that's a fully true statement. I'm just saying they have a little bit of a leg to stand on for being a BTC holder over ETH. Like, because like that's not what, from what I understand, what ETH was supposed to be all about. Like, I don't understand how it got so bad so quick.
Owning Hex on Pulse Chain is gonna eventually be the same as just having Bitcoin in this main market that we exist in now. I think it's gonna be linked to all the pairs. It's gonna be the store of value behind everything. Owning Hex in this new world that we're gonna be living in, it's like I always use this example of like the community is going to get copied over, right? Everything is being copied over. All the previous work that RH has put into to building his community is being copied over. You can't really buy these things. So it's like owning Hex on the other side is going to be like the equivalent of playing these Fortnite games, or, you know, where you drop off a plane and you have to go and search for weapons. Like the people who actually have Hex as the currency, they're going to start out with like an AK, and everyone who doesn't, they're going to be running around looking for like a Glock.
Like, I was like, dude, this is the greatest thing ever. CDs on the blockchain. Like, what a fucking brilliant idea. Look at the branding. Look at the community. You know, I'm a Quattro Cinco staker, bro. Like, you know, fucking like I do plan on making more. I plan on buying Quattro Cinco stakes. I want to make a Voltron stake. And it's just like I'm one of those insane people, but like that's how like all of us are, because we see that truer value just continuing down the road, like people earning yield by buying Hex. This is like people buying Bitcoin and then putting it in BlockFi except for you don't get rug pulled. Like, that's exactly what this is. And it's just like, this market is so big. Everybody wants to earn yield on their crypto, but nobody wants to get well, some people still want to get rug pulled, but like, dude, we're going to see all that money flow back in. We're going to see new users. We're going to see this is why I'm like, everybody needs to be talking to people. If you have friends, like, get them to get some hacks at the bottom, or be like, as close to the bottom as possible. There's so much upside.
Someone just bought over 50 grand Hedron.
And one other thing to keep in mind is, some hexagons don't even know they mint Hedron, and some might start discovering some coins, so they might go and sell them, stake them, or participate in the auctions. Like, see what happens over these next. I think the next 2 months are going to be like a very interesting time. I think we're going to look back and be like, wow, like, what a crazy ass time that was. We'll also probably be looking and be like, dude, Mike, Hex is half a penny. What the fuck? You told me to be bullish. Oh, God.
Yeah, time frames.
Yep.